Guten Tag, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and listening. We got the first ever NFL Germany game at halftime with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on top of the Seattle Seahawks. Right now, 14-0. Seattle to receive the second half kick after they deferred their option, their choice at the start of the game and kicked off. So Tampa went and punted to begin the game, as did Seattle. Then the Buccaneers missed a field goal before another Seahawks punt. And then, as honestly, the Seattle Seahawks haven't been able to do jack shit today. Tampa's had two 13-play, 85-plus yard touchdown drives that have taken up a good chunk of change, to say the least. So 14-0 is, in fact, your score. So see what happens in the second half. Of course, Seattle's going to have to find a running game for Geno Smith. He's going to have to make some plays, though, too. Honestly, no doubt about it, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. It's hard to pick against him. Last week, as he said, and I quote, after they came back and won over the LA Rams, game-winning touchdown drive for the GOAT. That was fucking awesome. They're 4-5. They're in first place in the NFC South. Had Carolina beat Atlanta on Thursday night. New Orleans is at Pittsburgh coming up in a couple hours, and I'll be live right here on YouTube for that as well, so be sure to tune back in as we'll pick this up at halftime, as there's about a 6-hour difference between the East Coast here in the United States of America and Germany. So 9:30 a.m. local kick here in the States, 3:30 mid-afternoon game in Europe. So here now, about an hour and a half in, 11 a.m. Eastern. So it's about 5 o'clock. They said it's about 40 degrees as they are outside playing at the stadium in which Bayern Munich plays. And talk about kicking. Like I said, we've had officially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 punts, with, good portion of those to Seattle, because they've had, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, left and right here in this first half. Tampa missed a field goal, unless they'd be up 17-0 right now, because then they drove and scored twice, as mentioned. Thought potentially they were going to do it again right before halftime, but they did not. Took a knee, and that was that. But 14-0 is your halftime score. As the NFL's played in Europe before, they had an NFL Europe league. They're potentially looking at putting a whole entire franchise over there, let alone a division in the near future. Only time will tell if that comes to fruition or not. But of course, the NFL's played in London every year now for the past 15 years or so, including already 3 times this year. And I might add, those games never disappoint, never fail to disappoint, with all 3 games this year and, throughout history for the most part, coming down to the wire, final few minutes of the game, final play of the game for that matter. So, we'll see what gives the second half, but, it's the international series for the National Football League. They're used to playing in London. They've been to Mexico City a couple times. They'll return to there next Monday night, I might add. But first ever NFL Germany game today in Munich. So 14-0 is your score. NFL Network with the broadcast with Rich Eisen, Mooch, Steve Mariucci, along with two Hall of Famers in Kurt Warner and Michael Irvin on the call, along with Jamie Erdahl and Sarah Walsh down the field as they show some highlights. Colleen Wolfe wrapping up the halftime right now, but first half stats and scores. Geno Smith is 6 of 10, 69 yards passing. Been sacked twice. This Buccaneer defense showing out early. Like I said, punt after punt after punt for Seattle. Really haven't been able to move the football. Kenneth Walker, the rookie running back, has 7 carries, 8 yards rushing. So, like I said, they need to get a running game going. The only good thing about it right now is they're getting the ball to begin this second half. So, if they can just find a way to cut this lead and make some stops and take it into the fourth quarter, give themselves a chance. Really that's all they can ask for at this point. But they got to find a running game, help out Geno Smith. Of course, like I said, he's going to have to make some plays too. But Metcalf has 3 catches, 33-yard receiving. Goodwin, 1 of 19. Noah Fant, 1 catch, 15 yards. And then Tom Brady. They did give us a little German lesson for, some football terms, but Guten Tag, sorry, Frau. Like I said at the start, probably the most, even though I took 2 years of German in school, probably the most we're going to kick off here the second half. Seattle back deep to receive. Most I'll say here today. But once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. Brady, 11 of 16, 132 yards, and a touchdown. That to Julio Jones. Fournette has a touchdown as well, even though he did not get the start. Rashard White, 9 of 29. But Fournette now 12 carries, 48 yards rushing, and the touchdown. Mike Evans, 49 yards on 4 catches. Julio Jones, the 1 catch for a touchdown for 31 yards. But, 7-0 and then 14-0 and, could be 17-0. So Seattle's going to have to, do something here. But from the 25, 1st and 10. Geno, of course, taking over for Russell Wilson, who they traded to Denver this past offseason. And he has the Seattle Seahawks at 6-3 and in the lead in the NFC West. Talk about the NFL London games. They've been to Mexico City a few times, and those games have been good as well. But the London games, like I said, they're really disappointing. They're always close down to the wire, hard fought. Honestly don't know what's going to happen for the most part. But as they once again had 3 London games earlier this year, last month, surprisingly, over the course of the 15 years or so they've been going across the pond, the Giant-Packer game was the first ever NFL London game to have 2 teams face off against one another with winning records. Today's NFL Germany game is the first ever NFL international matchup with 2 division leaders, with the Seattle Seahawks at 6-3, leading the NFC West. And yes, even with Tampa Bay below 500 right now at 4-5, they are atop the NFC South. And like I said, Carolina beat Atlanta Thursday night. Tampa coming off of a win last week against the Rams. Seemingly the game-winning touchdown drive last week, what they needed to, for the most part, get their season, back on track, if you will. But you still can't count out Tom Brady regardless of play and then record. But yeah, they're 4-5. They're atop of the division. They get a win, they'll have a little bit of a lead with how the other teams are playing behind them. But now that we're in November, Geno on a quarterback keeper, about a yard or so, second down, after they just picked up a couple first downs. So they are moving the ball here to begin the second half. This is when you're going to be playing, hopefully, your best football. hopefully, fixing your mistakes from earlier on in the season, putting it all together, and just name the games to win. Just find a way to win the damn game, and because that's all anybody is ever going to remember anyway. So, Seattle, yeah, no doubt about it. This year, a little surprising. I counted them out from the start, but they've proved me wrong. And I mean, they're down right now, but they still have a chance here. They just, like I said, they got to get something going on offense, which seems like they had there for a second, but now the drive's starting to stall, and got a 3rd and 9 a couple minutes into this third quarter. Once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cohen Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Thumbs up button. Share hashtag NFL, hashtag NFL Munich, hashtag NFL Germany, hashtag Seahawks, hashtag Buccaneers. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super stickers, super likes. Always greatly appreciated. Got a trips in a bunch top of your screen. 3rd and 9 from the 22. So they are in field goal range. Pass incomplete. Time for DK at the 1. So they'll have to settle for 3, which is, better than them punting as many times as they punted already today. As for the most part, the refs have let them play. Seattle has a couple more penalties than Tampa Bay does, and 40-yard field goal attempt here. Like I said, we'll see what gives. Zebras huddling up. John Hussey with a P, your white capper today. After the play was over, got an unsportsmanlike conduct on Seattle. So that's crucial, because then that's going to back the field goal up. Yeah, still going to be 4th down, but should be 55-yard field goal then. Rather than 4th and 9, it'll be 4th and 26. Still 15-yard penalty, even though it's after the play. So, yeah, 55-yard field goal. Kicks up. Kick is good. Okay, we had a missed field goal earlier. Seemingly had some issues with the turf early as well, but it seems like these players have, settled down and settled in. Can't go wrong with some grunge at 11 a.m., 8 a.m. out west for any Seahawks fans up and watching this game. As they went to Arizona last week and won. Tampa, as mentioned, defeating the Rams, and now here we are today. But on paper, with the way the two teams are playing, honestly, a damn good game. Slow start, no doubt about it. Like I said, punts. But they're playing in a soccer, football, if you will, stadium. So, why not kick the ball? But then, Brady and the Bucks, Tom Brady got it going. Like I said, 2-13 play, 85-plus yard touchdown drives, and 14-0 lead at halftime. And then the Seahawks, luckily they got on the board there with 3 on their opening drive in the second half. So they have some signs of life now, but they got to build off of it. They can make some stops on defense, figure out a way, of course, to score a few more points. Got to capitalize off of the little momentum that they have right now and just continue to put it all together, and should be all right. Like I said, if they can get this game into the fourth quarter, and I mean deep into the fourth quarter, like 5-6 minutes to go, potentially find a running game, I think they'll be okay. But, once again, you can't count out Tom Brady. Look at last week, for instance. I believe it was his 55th career in the regular season and postseason combined game-winning touchdown drive, if I'm not mistaken. Which, for playing for 23 years and surpassing 100,000 passing yards last week, I might add as well. Showing a replay of the penalty, and then, well, they still make the field goal anyway, so really doesn't matter at this point, but he's just got to watch his cool, because if he gets another, he's gone. Had a coach yesterday in college football, I might add, get called for an unsportsmanlike conduct, and they did fucking push-ups on the sideline, but I'll digress. So, yeah. These refs just got to let him play, though. They try to control the game too much, But if it's a penalty, as I've always said, call it. If it's not, don't. Obviously, they thought it was, so they threw the flag. But, I could honestly care less who wins this game. I think everybody, especially in Germany, it's their first ever NFL game they're seeing live in person in their homeland. I just want to see a good game. And like I said, the crowd seems to be in it, even with as cold as it is here mid-November. As it's cold in the States and it's, cold in Europe. But it's either cold or warm wherever the hell you are. Or, somewhere in between. But I'm no weatherman. Tampa 3 yards on that opening play, 2nd and 7. Well, 31. Brady, pass complete to Mike Evans for 4 yards and 35. So they got a 3rd and medium here. So Seattle going to have to get the hell off the field on defense. But there's still a lot of ball left. 11 minutes to play in third quarter. At least, like I said, they got on the board with 3 there, cut the lead. They just got to continue, chop, get some sparks, like stop or 2, capitalize off it. They need a turnover more so than not. They do. So we'll see what happens. Bright in motion. Brady looking to throw on 3rd and 2, complete to Julio Jones near side for about 3, maybe 4 yards, but still enough for a first down. So we'll move to 6. 1st and 10, Tampa Bay. 14-3 your score. Brady last week, as mentioned, surpassing 100,000 career passing yards. Now today, with a few completions on this drive, we'll run a wildcat formation, and Leonard Fournette for about 2, maybe 3 yards. 2nd down and 7-8 again. Under 10 to play in this third quarter. Yes, 2nd and 8. Brady's 13 of 18, a $142 and a score. And, reason why, Tom Brady was wide open, but it's not like Leonard Fournette's going to be throwing the football, because then they're not going to want to risk a potential injury to Brady getting tackled down the far sideline, running into the end zone, for God's sakes. Hand off to Fournette again to midfield for about 7.5, be 3rd and short here. But, a good reason why, Tampa's up right now the way they are is because they have a running game compared to Seattle. If only, Seattle today was able to run the football like they have, been able to all year, let alone having this type of running game when they had Russell Wilson, he still might be a Seahawk. Broncos were actually just in London a couple weeks ago, went on a bye, and they returned to play today. We're going to preview what's to come here this NFL Week 10 momentarily, so stay tuned for that. Just once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. Hopefully, tune back in here about, less than 2 hours now or so for kickoff between the Saints and Steelers. So, be sure to subscribe, notification bell next to it, stay up to date. Thanks for tuning in and listening. So, first down, Bucks. And with a lead in a running game, home or away, second half, you're going to want to try to work as much clock as you possibly can. And, Brady going to fake the give. Looks like going deep over the middle, coming across is Otten, 88, Cade Otten, who had the game-winning touchdown last week against the Rams. And, talk about a spark. Seemingly, once again, that game-winning touchdown drive is, in Tampa's eyes at least, going to try to get them over the hump. Try to get them, winning a few more games, go on the right path down the track, and, find a way to get out of the groove they've been stuck on. Chris Godwin passed complete far side. And to the 22-yard line, he goes. The Big Ten, Michigan to Penn State connection, and a Tampa Bay Buccaneer first down. A nice back shoulder, maybe a little push off, but still first down. Now you probably want to get back to the run game. They'll run a wildcat formation again. And Brady's lined out. They're going to throw to him. Tom Brady, he slips and it's picked off. Holy shit. No, they didn't. They didn't just do that, did they? Okay, that's what Seattle needs, though. So Tampa's shooting themselves in the foot. Did that really just happen? Hit the thumbs up button if it did. That's holy shit. So I don't think anybody thought they'd be actually throwing the fucking ball. Even though he did throw the first ever NFL regular season touchdown pass in Germany. Now they've got a flag on the play. After the interception, got a trip on the Bucs on Tom Brady. So, first down Seattle. They'll take a TV timeout. 6:33 to play in the third quarter. Yeah, what a play. I don't think he meant to trip him. He was just, as he slipped, he rolled over and then, down by contact. But they still threw the flag, so it is what it is. Seattle going to get the ball. What, is tripping a 5-yard penalty? 10-yard penalty? 15-yard penalty? Somewhere in between. Tripping very rarely gets called. That's why I'm asking. I can't even fucking remember it. The damage, is on that. But, Seattle first and 10 when we return anyway. Should know, but if anybody doesn't know, let me know in the comments. Believe me, it's early. But no, second time they ran a wildcat on that drive. I mean, I could understand, running it once there like they did, but then, getting too full of themselves, it felt like they're with the pass off of the wildcat, maybe save it for later if they did it earlier, in the first half, now do it, but same drive, like, defense going to be ready for it, and they were, because the first time they actually ran it, and then, like I, was saying that, hey, they're lined up in the wildcat again. Brady lined up all by himself, top of your screen, as he was. They were covering him a little bit better this time. Still playing off, but, defender was right there. And, it looked like Fournette was going to run, but then stopped and, sort of hit a deep jump pass, if you will, Tebow style. And, it had the distance, if Brady honestly would have a little more athleticism in catching a football, there's a in a previous Super Bowl, I might add, a pass back to the quarterback, and it was then incomplete. Today it's picked off. Yeah, so the defender went up and made a play. I mean, he still could have caught it too. I don't understand the penalty. That's just in live time. I'm sure he didn't mean to, trip him, but he just rolled over and then, yeah. So, like I said, though, Seattle needing to stop on defense, like I said as well, potentially a turnover. Well, there you go. Voila. Now they just got to capitalize on it. They got on the board with the field goal to begin the second half, get a turnover on, first defensive drive. Now they got to drive and score. So, only 5-yard penalty. 1st and 10, Seattle from the 16. Smith on a quarterback keeper going to slide and get about 5, maybe 6 yards. There's a late penalty once again. It always seems like Hockey Lee and Hussey's crew, Jesus Christ, they're throwing, all the penalty flags that they can throw. Yeah, I mean, no gun there, unnecessary roughness. 15 yards, automatic first down. So they'll, have the ball out towards 35, 40 yard line now. Yeah, he slid and gave himself up, which, I mean, okay, maybe a little bit, but nothing major. I mean, they still called it, though, so you play through it. But, yeah, 1st and 10, Seattle now officially 35-yard line. Out of the gun with 2 backs. And Geno Smith going to dump it off. Noah Fant for 11 and another Seahawks first down. So now it seems like the momentum switched. Tampa's up 14 early. Go to halftime with that score. Seattle with field goal to begin the third quarter. Turnover on defense, and now, some more first downs and moving the football. And like I said, Seattle just has to get this game into the fourth quarter, with a chance. Empty set, Seahawks, pass complete. Metcalf, first down Seattle, another 11-yard game. They need 10 on 1st and 10. And, hey, back-to-back plays, they get 2 consecutive first downs and, 2 11-yard completions and move the sticks again. First down Seattle from the 44. Another empty set. They'll run a bubble screen. Kenneth Walker spins and gets out of bounds after about a 5-yard gain. So 2nd and medium here, but Seattle's got life. You're just now tuning in. But we'll see what happens here. Because talk about, Tampa's defense early, making stops, and the reason why they have a lead, having a running game more so, compared to Seattle. Smith's pass complete, their first down for the Seahawks. DK Metcalf on the reception again. It's also because of their defense. Bending but not breaking. And now, late in the game, we'll see what they got. If they're gonna, bend but not break, or bend and then break, and then, give up their lead that they have. So Walker on the gin and about 4 yards, and got an injured Seahawks. So now they're going to try to, establish a running game, and rightfully so. They're right, on the cusp of the red zone. So Brady looking over some tape. Yeah, like I said, if he had a little bit more athleticism, he, could have made a play on it. Because very rarely do you see Brady run, let alone line up as a receiver, and then they throw it to him. Okay? But like I said about the field conditions earlier, it did seem like, some players were slipping and sliding, and then guess what happened on that play? That's exactly what he did. He slipped and fell. So, nothing really he can do about it. The play for the most part was executed up until the time the ball was picked off. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose just to get him a passing touchdown and then a catch today in the NFL Germany game, for that matter. Because, that probably would have worked a little bit better for Fournette throwing to somebody else, to think about it. But then, Brady's that decoy, even though he's not, because they're not going to give him the ball, but yet they got him the football. Wonder what a few quarterbacks throughout history are thinking right now that, oh shit, like they actually threw him the ball. Like, I thought, or said, for that matter, and everybody's probably thinking, because, like, you just don't see that happen, all the damn time. So, because when you normally line up that way, you're just going to stand there, But then the defense was ready for it the second time. That's why I said, like, it felt like they were trying to do too much. Todd Bowles taking over for Bruce Arians. At times it seems like he's still coaching the Jets, even though he has, some better players, including Tom Brady, no doubt about it. But then, Leftwich calling the offensive plays. Like, you have Tom Brady, and you have, for the most part, at times a good running game. But this year, they just haven't been able to, find a running game. And then wonder why they're, 4-5. But, they have some signs of life themselves on trying to, figure out a way to get this season, going in the right direction from here on out. With Seattle trying not to, blow it, because, they got some good teams behind them in division as well, I might add. So, Kenneth Walker on the reception near side, got a third and about 3, I'd say, with 3 to play in this third quarter. 14-3 your score. So third and short. I think, honestly, because they have a lead, unless they go up a score here, and then it's, right back out there, try to score some more points. I don't really think they're concerned or worried about it right now. Defense just has to get a stop. They're just going to let it slide. But at the same point in time, you don't want to turn the ball over, because then that turnover to this, possession for Seattle to, potential scoring drive with a field goal or a touchdown, at the end of the game might end up being the difference once it's all said and done. So, we'll see what happens here. But now they got a first and goal at the 9-yard line. So they'll run a fade and incomplete. I don't mind that on first and goal. I hate fades personally, but I don't mind that on first and goal. And Metcalf, maybe a little push off, but, like I said, the rest were letting him play to an extent. Throwing the most asinine penalties of the day, it's felt like. For whatever reason, for the most part, the hell of it. But, as big as he is, he tries to go up and snag it with one hand, but it's incomplete. Second goal, empty set from the 9, quarterback draw, nowhere to go, and he's going to get sacked. Ball's out, fumble, and Tampa might have it, and it looks like they do, and they sure as hell do. Tampa Bay football, so back-to-back turnovers. So Seattle just costs it up and shoot themselves in the foot, and as they show off the crowd, you see players, of course, in their uniforms for their respective teams, but the fans and jerseys of both these teams, let alone, that being the first ever NFL game in Germany. All 32 NFL teams, other, sports. Germany through history, he isn't, other than soccer, football, that big into sports. I know there's basketball in Europe, but, they're more of a country in which, and seemingly always have been, correct me if I'm wrong, but, um, they gear up for Olympic type sports, um, whether that's inside or outside, you know. Um, the NFL is expanding, go to Germany for the first time, potentially could be, having a couple of London games and a couple of Germany games each year in the future. Who the hell knows? Um, I think honestly, the NFL is trying to go, as worldwide as they possibly can, rather than just here in the States. Um, like I said earlier, of course, there's been talk, one team in London or one team, in Europe, but travel difficulty, well, end of story. Like, that ain't gonna happen. Like, that's why, there's discussion of, adding teams and a potential um, whole entire division over there, especially with the money that could, come in with it. It would make sense to an extent, but it wouldn't at the same time. Like, it's better off just doing what they've been doing and, leave it at that. But, from Seattle to Tampa Bay to Boston to Dallas to LA to Chicago to Pittsburgh and everywhere in between, they go to London, Mexico City, Munich, Germany, maybe go to Japan, down under in Australia, for all we know, or, elsewhere for that matter. Who the hell knows? Um, so, yeah, back-to-back turnovers. Seattle can't capitalize off the interception, so now Tampa still the 14-3 lead. Guess what they do? And rightfully so, they should be running the football, and they should be working as much clock as they possibly can. 11-point lead here with 2:18 accounting to play in the third quarter. So, yeah, it was a quarterback draw and then nowhere to go, and just he got hit. It was a sack, but then as he's going down, I don't know why they didn't look at that. His knee might have been down, but the ball is coming out in the meantime. So fumble, and Tampa recovers. 2nd and 3 now for the Bucs from the 20-yard line. Going to try to honestly at this point put this game away if they can. Because field goal makes another 2-score game, and a 14-point lead and 17-3. But touchdown, honestly, 2.5 scores there. 15 minutes to go. Seattle, honestly, still not really doing much, even though they had a little spark there. Turnover going to cost them, it seems like. But if they can get up the field here on 3rd and 7, still some time, might have a chance. But if Tampa can convert, continue to drive, eat clock, and end up scoring, which they get the first down, the 28. Chris Godwin on the reception, 1st and 10 Bucs. Like I said, yeah, this game might get out of hand, and Tampa might be able to put it away. And of course, then that'll be all she wrote. You can see the soccer lines as this is, of course, where Bayern Munich plays. Seemingly the same turf, but they're slipping and sliding. But it is grass. Out of the eye, they'll hand off. White, and he bounces it down the far sideline. First down, out past midfield. Nice stiff arm. Sit your ass down, and to the 42-yard line he goes, and that'll do it for the third quarter. So, it'll be 1st and 10 Tampa, up 11. 14-3 to begin the final 15 here today. Once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. Plan was, as I've called a London game in the past, to also do one of the 3 earlier this year, but scheduling wise for myself, even though the plan was to do at least one, if not 2, let alone all 3. things didn't line up, unfortunately, but here we are today. NFL Germany game with the Seahawks and Bucks. Mexico City Monday night game next week. And that'll be the Cardinals and 49ers right before Thanksgiving. We'll be watching that with WWE Monday Night Raw. But even though, as I'll have live watch along reactions, FYI, over on YouTube, coming up shortly with the Saints and Steelers, next Sunday for the NFL, as the Steelers will host the Bengals, as I myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool Luke 96. For anyone not knowing or just not tuning in, thank you. Sure, like, follow, and subscribe. Live watch along reactions, college football with Penn State and the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course professional wrestling as well. Next Sunday, after the Steelers game was flexed from Sunday Night Football to a 4 o'clock kick, not going to unfortunately be able to watch it then. I'll talk more about this later during the Steeler game, but plan is to watch that Bengals-Steeler game next Monday night with that Monday night game in Mexico City, and then, of course, WWE Monday Night Raw as well, right before Survivor Series, as they're coming off the Crown Jewel. They were just, over in the Middle East last weekend. Yeah, so that's the plan with that. Of course, I'm going to try to do my best to not know what happened or what is happening in that respective game then, but here we are today, and it's 14-3 at the end of the third quarter with the Bucks up and a new set of downs. Geno Smith, 15 of 22, 167 yards, sacked 3 times. That fumble on that strip sack costing him right now. Brady, 16 of 21, a $180 in the score, and then both White and Fournette had 65 and 57 yards rushing apiece, along with Brady having a passing touchdown and Fournette having a rushing touchdown. So 14-3, your now early fourth quarter score. Second and 8 for Tampa. Brady pump fakes deep down the middle, complete inside the 20. Cade Otton. They've missed Gronk this year. I said it week 1 when they, barely beat Dallas. They had to settle for 3. It felt like every drive. And then, of course, Dak got hurt. He's back. Cowboys are fine for now. They're at Green Bay today, I might add. But Tampa with really no running game. Brady and the offense battling injuries, just trying to find some rhythm himself. Of course, all the off-field shit. And, last week, game-winning touchdown drive against a good team, the Super Bowl champs. And the Rams, who defeated the Bucs, I might add, in the playoffs last year, who were the Super Bowl champs from the year prior. And now having a running game, Brady to Brait and Cade Otton, Julio Jones stepping up. They still have Evans and Godwin, for God's sakes. And, that's the thing. Like, if they can just put it all together, they'll be fine. And, now it seems like, for the most part, tight end screen near side on 2nd and 9, and they'll get the first down, it looks like. Maybe about a half yard short. We'll see the spot. That they're doing just that. So that's what, you just can't count them out. Like, just watch out. Because, standing-wise in the NFL, yeah, you got an undefeated team. You got a couple teams, at 6-7 wins. including Seattle at 6-3, but they're down right now. But even with a loss, well, depending on what happens, you know, the rest of the way today and, you know, tomorrow, just this week in general, we'll see how the standings, you know, shake out. Entering now next week, and we'll get to a preview here momentarily for what's to come here today as well. Got a timeout, I think? No, chain gang out for measurement. 3rd and 1. So the Zebras going to measure, and he's going to be about a half of a football short. Be 3rd and inches. So 12:23 to play. But, you know, yeah, there's a couple teams that are pulling away. There's a couple teams, you know, that I still think with only a couple wins at the bottom threshold of the league could make some noise down the stretch if they can put it all together themselves. But then everybody else is honestly still, you know, for the most part, right there in the middle. You know, so it's going to be an interesting finish. We got about another 2 full months of NFL football before this begin. 3rd and inches out of the gun with Godwin in motion near side. Get up there and fucking sneak it. They'll hand off and they'll get the first down. 1st and goal, White to the 4. So, yeah. Touchdown here. Put this game away for sure. Go up 21-3 with 10 minutes to play, give or take. Yeah. When Seattle's... If only they did a little bit more in the first half because they punted as much as they did. And then, you know, okay, field goal drive. Had them, it felt like, you know, they were going to capitalize off the interception on the Wildcat pass Brady. Then inside the 10, they fumble themselves. You know, the Bucs recover. Now they've gone the distance and got a 2nd and goal to go inside the 5. So that close, but then changes that much, just like that. So 60-minute game. You know, not over until it's over, but Seattle's good. They are, you know, surprising, I think, to everybody this year, the way they played. You know, because like I said, I counted them out, you know, at the get-go. You know, I need my words on that, but, you know, as much as Brady throws, pass complete to Chris Godwin, 10:48 to play, it's now 20-3. Extra point to come. This game is, for the most part, now over with. You know, as much as you're right on stuff, you're going to be as, you know, wrong as on much more than that, you know, for that matter. So, got a flag on the play once again. Jesus Christ. How much you want to bet it's going to be on there after the play on sportsmanlike conduct? Okay, it's a touchdown, so no flag. They pick it up. No OPI for an offensive pass interference, and call stands. No pick play as White motioned out of the backfield. Brady looked far side, came back near side. Godwin, Evans in the area, and Chris Godwin coming off a few injuries recently with reception and a touchdown reception. So Brady 2 passing touchdowns today. One to Julio Jones, the other there to Chris Godwin. Fournette with a rushing touchdown. Seattle with a field goal, and the turnover hurt them because Tampa drives and scores and extends the lead now 21-3 with 10:48 to play. So, yeah, if only they were able to capitalize off the Buck turnover rather than turn it over themselves, you know, this game might be a hell of a lot closer than it is right now. I mean, 18's, you know, a 3-score game. You know, because the touchdown and the 2-point is 8. And then 9 and 2 is 18. So, you know, do the math. They'd need, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point attempts, and a field goal just to fucking win it at 22-21 if I can do math. So, yeah, this game's over. I mean, Seattle might, you know, drive and get something, but time's just not going to be on their side because, you know, they didn't do enough early, you know, punted the whole entire first half, and then, field goal to begin the third quarter, and then they get the turnover themselves, but then they, turn it right back over, and, Tampa drives and scores. So 21-3. Brady 19-24 officially, 217, 2 touchdowns. Rashard White's had a day, 18 carries, 71 yards rushing for net 14, a 57 in the score. And then as both Godwin and Jones have the touchdown catches, Chris Godwin has 5 catches, 58 yards receiving in the score. Julio Jones 2 of 36 in the touchdown as well. Mike Evans 5 catches, 54 yards. Cade Otton, he has 3 catches, 35 yards receiving. Brait 1 of 8, also at tight end. Scotty Miller had 2 catches, 25 yards in the first half, but wasn't doing anything in this second half. And their defense has made stops. They'd be up honestly right now 24-3 if they didn't miss that field goal. But as I was saying, Seattle's a good team. They are. However, today Tampa has been the better team. And hey, you win some, you lose some. And I mean, this is only going to come back to either help or hurt one of these two teams, say for the wild card chase, if it comes down to it, if they're not winning their division come later on in the year, as they show off some old NFL Europe highlights. Of course, Kurt Warner in the booth for NFL Network. His journey was made into a movie recently. Of course, is a Hall of Famer now, has a bronze bust in Canton at the Hall of Fame. Be sure to go check out my NFL Hall of Fame vlog right here on the YouTube channel as well. More so of a draft weekend trip with the Hall of Fame at the end of it, from about a year and a half ago now. So, of course, you'll have to scroll through some videos, but just be sure to subscribe. Of course, more videos will be published. But Seattle now, 1st and 10 from the 23. Fake the give, and then they dump it off on the screen. Kenneth Walker, the third. And, nice play there. A lot of yak yards for the rookie. Formerly at Michigan State, but he did play first off at Georgia Tech before he transferred to be a Spartan during the COVID year, and then issues with the turf, slipping and sliding from the start. And like I said, it seems like it's the same grass, but talk about changing cleats. Like, I guess I know there is, from playing both, but I guess, whether they're playing in Germany or here in the States or wherever, with the field condition, like, it's the same, but it's different. I know that's not going to make any sense. It's still, of course, more similar than not. I mean, but every field, to an extent, is going to be different, It's hard to explain, so I'm not going to get into it. Like, if you know, you know, but, they're talking about changing out cleats. Try to, get better traction. Another screen complete to Kenneth Walker, another first down for the Seahawks. And there's a flag, I might add as well, so, gave them some free yardage, and they're in Tampa territory now, and I mean, they're going to have to score the ball back, score again, hope to get the ball back again, and, hopefully do something then too, but, really haven't done much to this point. What makes you think they're going to do all that, with under 10 to play? Like, 1st and 10 from 36. Quick rollout, another screen, Kenneth Walker. Hey, for Tampa, somebody want to cover his ass, like, that's what, 3 or 4 just dump off screens, and then good blocking, and more first downs. Like, yeah, I don't know. Of course, they don't get beat deep, which I can understand. They'll give them the short yardage, but of course, you don't want to give up anything at all. I mean, if you give up something, okay, get the ball back, run the clock out. But I mean, just think if this game was closer, and then Seattle's doing what they're doing right now. Like, we'd probably be saying Tampa's in trouble. But then you still can't count out Brady, because then you give him the ball back with however much time, he's going to do something with it. Like, so yeah. 8:30 to play, 1st and 10 from the 21. So they've gone the distance here. They're in field goal range, but that ain't going to cut it. I mean, it would to start if they want to go in reverse, and then they need 2 touchdowns and, 2 two-point attempts. So they do score. Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith with a passing touchdown to one of Russell Wilson's former go-to targets. And, yeah, Seattle going to go for 2, as they should, make it a 10-point deficit, and then they need a field goal and a touchdown to tie, or a little bit more to win it. Do I think this game's going to go to overtime? Do I think we're going to have a game-winning, score by any means? Probably not, because, like I said, I think this game's over with. But, Seattle does drive and score quick, so you never know. 8:20 and 2-minute warning and 3 timeouts for both teams. Honestly, that's an eternity. What Tampa's going to have to do, coming up, is run the ball and work clock. And they've been able to do just both, today perfectly fine. So, all going to depend on here what happens on the 2-point play, though. Seattle going to go for 2. And it'll be incomplete in the end zone. So, 21-9. It's a 12-point lead. 8:20 to play. Seattle needs 2 touchdowns. Even if they'd get a field goal and then hope to get the ball back, late, needing a touchdown and 2-point, they'd still be down, and time ain't going to be on their side. So they need 2 scores. Kicking onside kick right now, that could go either way. We'll see what they do. Pete Carroll's laughing his ass off, though, because myself included, counted them out this year. Just, no Russ anymore. Haven't had a running game in how long. The defense ain't what it used to be. And they've won 6 of 9 games. They're 6-3. And they're leading their division. So the thing is, down early. Time's not on their side. They're playing against Tom Brady. Like I said, I still think this game's over with. I do. So we'll see what they do here when we return. If they're going to kick it deep or kick an onside kick, because like I said, it can go either way. 8:20 to play, 3 timeouts for both teams, 2-minute warning. So that's a long ass time. But if Tampa can run the ball and work clock, go on another 5-6 minute touchdown drive and score, game's for sure over. With a field goal, let alone a touchdown for that matter. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what it gives. As always, I'm sure something will. Once again, thanks for tuning in and listening. And as always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool and Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. NFL Week 10 began on Thursday night. We had the Panthers defeat the Falcons, officially 25-15. Excuse me, as we sit at a commercial break, we got the Bucs up 21-9 right now on top of the Seahawks in this first ever NFL Germany game. And then coming up at 1 o'clock, as America's Game of the Week at 4 o'clock, is Cowboys, Packers, Sunday Night Football, Chargers, 49ers, Monday night, tomorrow night, with Washington and Philadelphia. Teams on byes this week are Cincinnati, New England, the New York Jets, and the Baltimore Ravens. At 1 o'clock, we got the Vikings and Bills, Lions and Bears, oh my, Broncos and Tennessee taking on the Titans, which should be a good game. Jaguars, Chiefs, Browns, Dolphins, Texans, Giants. I'll have live watch-along reactions over on YouTube of Saints and Steelers, as Seattle does in fact kick it deep, and Tampa going to return about to the 22-yard line, so they'll be 1st and 10 from there. But Saints, Steelers, I believe the CBS game for myself at 1 o'clock here in about an hour or so is Jaguars, Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Broncos, Titans, though, let alone Browns, Dolphins, or even Texans, Giants. One of those 4 could be on CBS for myself. Normally the Steelers are on CBS, but they're on Fox today hosting the Saints. First time they're playing at home in about a month since they beat the Bucs by a few. With 8:14 to play, 1st and 10 from the 23 for Tampa Bay. Also got Colts and Raiders, Cardinals and Rams. As mentioned, Cowboys, Packers. It's America's Game of the Week. And then Sunday football, Chargers, 49ers. Monday Night Football, Washington, Philadelphia. Roger Goodell made the trip. Where's Dan Snyder at? Did they literally just say the build up to this game this past week in Germany felt like the Super Bowl? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily doubt it. You know, it's the first ever NFL game in Germany, for God's sakes. Like, there's always buzz with the international games. You know, going to London 3 times a year. Mexico City a couple times. It's always been on Monday night. You know, so there's that. And there's really no time difference. When they go overseas to London, it's always at like 9:30 in the morning because it's 2:30, 3 o'clock local time. 9:30 a.m. this morning in Germany for a 3:30 local kick in Munich. And Brady on 3rd and 10 going to dump it off, missed tackle, and then Keyshawn Vaughn will get the Tampa Bay Buccaneer 1st down. And I believe stay in bounds as well, so the clock should roll. There it goes. 1st and 10, Bucks up 21-9 here with 7.5 to play. So, yeah, all they're going to need is another couple 1st downs. I mean, by that point, you would hopefully, think they'd score by that point, though. Because like I said, field goal touchdown for sure seals this game, even though I've thought it's been over now for a little bit since they went up 21-3. But Seattle scores, and then got a timeout, and Seattle giving them another couple 1st downs to Tampa here, and got an injured player, so they'll take a TV timeout, and we'll get back to the action here momentarily. But yeah, Tampa's starting to drive again, and with a lead, and not much time on Seattle's side. This game should be over with before too long. Of course, no doubt about it, NFL games are faster than college football games, for one. Average times, give or take 3.5 hours. So, yeah, the London games normally get over about 12:30 at the latest. And there's, a little gap in there between the end of that and the 1 o'clock kicks. And then, of course, go from there. But, like I said, week 10 has, a few good games today, I think. Like I said, today's question of the day on social media is, in fact, the Seahawks Buccaneer game, so be sure to vote on that on Facebook and Twitter, and you can let me know in the comments below as well. But is Josh Allen playing for Buffalo today as they host the Minnesota Vikings? Broncos-Titans, I think, is probably the most underrated game of the afternoon. Denver coming off a win in London 2 weeks ago, and then a bye week. Tennessee lost to Kansas City last Sunday night. that game should be pretty good, I think. Jacksonville's gone to Kansas City recently and won. So take that for what it's worth. But, you know, coming off a, big win on a high, does the Chiefs stumble? I highly doubt it. You know, I think Cleveland Miami should be a good game as well. For the most part, all Dolphin games this year have been, one score. Saints Steelers should be a heart attack type of game because, well, the black and gold are in action, so that's nothing new. Cowboys Packers, of course, two historic franchises squaring off. The 49ers in prime time again against an LA team. Monday Night Football tomorrow night should be pretty damn good. Washington's a little bit better than they think they are. I mean, if only, quarterback play was consistent. Brady intercepted over the middle, and Seattle has life once again. With 6:24 to play, he's pissed. Yeah. You can't be doing that. I don't know why the hell you're fucking throwing anyway. So, Brady was 3 passes away from setting a record for not throwing a pick. But for the first time, they believe said in 400 pass attempts, gets picked off, which that ain't really that hard to believe, but they have turned the ball over, more so than not this year, so it is a little hard to believe at the same time. But, earlier the interception wasn't his, it was Fournette's. Now Seattle's got to capitalize off of this. Roll out, and then Geno Smith with a bullet incomplete, intended for Tyler Lockett over the middle, so 2nd and 10. So most consecutive pass attempts without a pick. Brady, and this is NFL history, he had it a decade ago with 358 and was just trailing Aaron Rodgers from 4 years ago by a few attempts. And at 399, the Seahawks take that deal, and they're going to try to cash in and cut this lead again. Geno Smith pass complete, and they'll have a 3rd and about 4 from the 38. So, yeah, Brady kicked himself for that pick. Just over the middle. Wasn't necessarily underthrown. I mean, I didn't see anybody in the back end, though. I still don't get who the hell he was throwing the fucking ball to. And then the backer just, made a play on it, an interception's an interception. You never want to turn the ball over, but I think he's kicking himself more so than not because he pump faked, and then he wanted to pump fake again, but he actually threw it. And then it got away from him, and then it's picked off, and now Seattle, as they tried to capitalize off the interception earlier, they couldn't. They turned it over themselves. Tampa drove and scored, up 21-3. Just think if they don't turn the ball over, when they did. Down 14-3, cut it with a field goal and a touchdown. 4th and 4, Seattle out an empty set going for it. They barely get it off of the play clock. Smith pressured, pass complete, 1st down Seattle at the 28. So, wow, 5:35 and counting to play. Got to score twice still here, man. And still 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning. This game coming down to the wire, even though it's looking like it was over there a little bit ago. But as I was saying, this game could be a hell of a lot closer than what it is. 1 or 2 plays right now is the difference. It is. Smith looking to throw. Geno all fucking day. Gonna tuck it and run, and then he slides and he'll be short. There's a late hit. Automatic 1st down. I don't know about that, but they threw the flag on the other one earlier, And I think this one now is a little bit more of a late hit than the previous one. So if that was a flag, this is definitely a flag in their books. But both of them really aren't, you know, penalties. They pick it up, yeah, and rightfully so. Still second and short for Seattle. You know, they don't want to give them, you know, especially a game on the line like this, free yardage, because then that screws over Tampa. Like, they try to keep it, you know, clean cut as they possibly can down the middle, but yeah, nobody open. He tucks it and runs, and I mean, they threw it, but they picked it up, and yeah, 2nd and 1. So now you just got to get a first down. Trip, stop your screen from the 19. Got all day on the play clock. Geno Smith in the end zone, and it'll be caught. Noah Fant, they say incomplete, out of bounds. I think that might have been a touchdown. He had both feet in, it looked like. But did he control and possess it? That's the question. So he caught it right there, left's down, right on the white. So it is incomplete, as he did catch it. Yeah, right there he's in, and then right's out of bounds. And the ref's staring right at his feet. It's incomplete. So 3rd and 1, good call. And they'll hand off, and they'll get stuffed. 4th and a yard. See, they got to go for it. You can't kick it. You're still down, 2 scores. You got to score twice. But maybe the play of the game right now. Maybe your ball game, for that matter. 4th and a yard for Seattle. I think one of these two teams is going to call a timeout right now. And it'd probably be Tampa to make sure they're set on defense, if anything. But neither of them do. 4th and 1, we play on. Geno Smith pass in the end zone. Caught, touchdown Seattle. Holy shit. Goodwin with the reception. 21-15. You kick the extra point because you don't need to go for 2. But, I mean, you might want to go for 2 because then 3:58 to play might, not seem like a lot of time left. But once again, 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning, you go for 2 to make it 21-17. Say they kick a field goal, then you need a touchdown to tie. Nice pass, nice catch, touchdown Seahawks. And the extra point, as they'll kick it, is going to be good. 21-16 with 3:58 to play. And you kick it deep for sure now, as they did the last time as well, with 8 minutes to play. So, turnovers today. And even special teams. All the punts we had, change in field, missed field goal, made field goal, extra points, but the turnovers. That honestly, you think about it, would have been to either, cut the lead, say, to 2, let alone take the lead, if Seattle would have done something with the first Tampa Bay turnover. Because it was 14-3 after the Wildcat interception to Brady. They were driving, but then remember, they turned it over themselves. Just think, though, they kick a field goal, okay, 14-6, they score 14-10. Tampa scores again, 21-6, 21-10. But then Seattle with a touchdown, go for 2, don't get it. Seattle scores again, they kick the extra point. Tampa's up 5, 3:58 to play, but no, you kick it deep. And they'll return it from the 8. You just got to get the hell off the field on defense, which they've been able to now. And then it seems like the momentum's, been back and forth this second half. I mean, hell, it was 14-0 at halftime. Now it's 21-16. Yeah. So Brady was going to Evans over the middle, and the backer just jumped up and made a play on it and picked him off, and then they capitalized off it. So that's 7 points off a turnover. Could be 10, could be 14. So that's the difference there. Whereas, Tampa scored off a Seahawks turnover. So that's 7 points. Take away the first Tampa turnover, okay? Because Seattle didn't get anything out of it anyway. But then the Seahawks turnover led to 7 Bucks points, and the Bucks turnover led to 7 Hawks points. Do the math. It's Seattle 16, Tampa Bay 14, if I'm not mistaken. It's 21-16, and now 2nd and 9, clock ticking, 3:20 and counting to play. Tampa's going to run the football and work as much clock as they possibly can, and Seattle's going to hope to get the ball back and, have a drive to go win it. But that pass over the middle complete to Chris Godwin, first down Bucks. Now, when does Seattle start calling their timeouts? Before the 2-minute warning or after? Of course, you're going to try to give yourself as much time as you possibly can, but, Tampa continues to get a first down, game's going to be over. So, yeah, we'll see here what happens, but still coming down to the wire. And Seattle, they're giving themselves a chance. They just got to get off the field on defense. White on the give for 3, 2nd and 7. I'd call timeout, yeah. 2:25 to play, timeout Seattle, be 2nd down Tampa. Because then you stop them here, call another timeout. And then you take it to the 2-minute warning, punt on 4th down, get the ball back. Maybe you have that one timeout, maybe you don't. You should at that point, but, maybe they give themselves a couple extra seconds, but Seattle's just going to hope to get the ball back now with a drive to go win it, like I said. So, still to come in the NFL today, as mentioned. Vikings, Bills, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Titans, Jaguars, Chiefs, Browns, Dolphins, Texans, Giants, Saints, Steelers. Jeff Saturday will make his coaching debut in the National Football League for his Indianapolis Colts as they're in Vegas taking on the Silver and Black Raiders. Got the Cowboys and Packers, Cardinals, Rams, Chargers, 49ers on Sunday football, Monday football tomorrow night, Washington, Philadelphia. 2nd and 7 for Tampa Bay from the 33. Handoff, White, first down, Bucks. Out past the 45 to 47, first down, Tampa. And, another timeout, Seattle. Yeah, probably call your 2. Get the 2-minute warning, 3rd, 4th down, potentially. And Geno kicking himself for that fumble earlier. Because right now, that's the difference. But then even with 3 timeouts and then 2 minutes for Tampa driving, go score and win the game themselves. So, yeah, like I said, you take the Tampa first turnover off the board, Fournette interception to Brady. Because Seattle didn't do anything with it. They turned it over themselves. Tampa scored off of that, and then Seattle scored off the Brady interception. So, those cancel each other out too. But 5 points is closer than what it is. But, Tampa right now has a chance to put it away. A couple more first downs. Because Seattle has a 2-minute warning to stop the clock and then one more timeout. So, 1st and 10 Bucks from the 46. Fake the give. Brady over the middle. Complete. Julio Jones. And another first down for the Bucks. So, another timeout. Actually, that'll take us a 2-minute warning. So 1st and 10 Tampa. 2 minutes to play, up 5. Seattle can only stop once more. So, honestly, one more first down is going to end it. If they don't get a first down, give or take, probably going to be, I'd have to think 30 seconds or so left, depending on how long the plays take, because then the average play is about 6 seconds. but, run it, take a little while to get up, or, play action and buying time, looking to throw, just Tampa just needs a first down. They get a first down, game's over. So, looks like Geno Smith's going to finish 23 of 33 for 275 and 2 touchdowns. Sack 3 times, including a strip sack. And they don't turn it over there. And if they capitalize off the first Buck turnover, I mean, they have a little bit of a lead right now. But then, even as it's gone, they don't. And then the other turnovers cancel each other out for the most part. I mean, they, think about it, they still have a lead. And then this Tampa drives for the win, rather than up 5 and then just closing it out. But what hurt Seattle today was a slow start, punting on every drive in the first half, and then not having a running game compared to Tampa Bay. Because, I mean, Geno put the team on his damn back here late. 23 33 for 275 and 2 touchdowns. He did turn it over once, but he leads the team in rushing. As I've always stated, when you're a quarterback, I don't care if he's a dual threat quarterback or a pocket passer or what. Your quarterback leads the team in rushing, you got a serious fucking problem. Because then you don't have a running game with your actual running backs. Okay? Geno Smith, 422 on the ground. Kenneth Walker, 10 carries, 17 yards rushing. Whereas, Brady, 22 of 29, 258, 2 touchdowns, interception. Rashard White has 87 yards rushing. Fournette has 57 yards rushing. So, NFL Germany fans are singing Take Me Home Country Roads. So, from Morgantown to Munich, and that should do it. Rashard White, 100 yards rushing for him, first down run for Tampa, and Brady knows it. First down, and Seattle can only stop it once more. They're not going to call a timeout. Tampa going to take a few kneel downs, and that will do it. So, first ever NFL game in Germany. Going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who will get to 500 at 5-5. Seattle going to fall to 6-4. Damn good game. Better second half than first half, no doubt about it. So glad, of course, to tune in right at the right time and start streaming. Just as always, thanks for tuning in and listening. But, victory formation as Zombie Nation and the Beersteins. Yeah. Never count them out. That's what, people were writing them off fucking a month ago. No. It's a long season, and that's for anybody. It's 18 weeks, 17 regular season games. Now, of course, you can lose, your year early in September and October. But, if you slow and steady wins race, stay with it, right there about 500, which, they are, among a few other teams, you're going to be okay. And that's what I've said, winter games here in November and December, helping out there in a shitty-ass division as well, I might add. They'll be okay. So, Germany with a rich history. And as much bad as Hitler and the Nazis did from the 30s into the 40s and World War II, all these years later, as Tom Brady becomes the first quarterback, what was that said again? Final kneel down. That'll do it. Post-game handshakes. Oh, that's right. Shit, I forgot about that game. Brady's the first quarterback in NFL history, so he's just adding to the record book as the final seconds tick away. Final score 21-16. Bucs beat the Seahawks today in Germany. He's the first ever NFL quarterback in NFL history to win in 3 different countries. The United States, as they'll sign off. Goodbye. 21-16 your final score. So, yeah, we'll see if they give a post-game interview with Brady here. But which, yeah, I'm about ready to say the stat, but it has me a little confused with how they had it worded. Because it said he's the first quarterback in NFL history to win a game in 3 different countries. Okay? Unless it said continents, which still England and Germany is Europe. Maybe it did say continents, and I read it wrong rather than countries. But still down in Mexico City, Mexico's part of North America. So Tom Brady's the first quarterback to either win 3 different games in technically 4 different countries. 1 in the U.S., 1 in Mexico, 1 in England, and 1 in Germany today, or he's the first, which it's probably both. It just depends on how you want to word it. First quarterback ever in NFL history to win 3 games on 2 different continents, but 4 countries, basically, long story short. The U.S., Mexico, England, and Europe. England and Germany in Europe, excuse me. Yes, because the United States and Mexico is North America. North America consists of Canada, the United States, and Mexico from the top down. Europe has a ton of countries, including England, which is the United Kingdom, UK, and then Germany, in Europe. So, yeah. Brady, the first quarterback ever in NFL history. There he is with the interview. What does he have to say? Yeah. Great atmosphere, he says. Electric. Hope the fans got what they wanted. They're 5-5. You know, he threw the first ever passing touchdown in Germany. Only his second game with 2 passing touchdowns this year. Did turn it over. Seattle capitalized on it, but then they, ran the clock out on him late. So, win's a win at the end of the day. They're singing Sweet Caroline right now, by the way. So they're not going anywhere in post game. Yeah, they're going on a bye next week too. So they'll play in 2 weeks right after Thanksgiving. Keep grinding. So there's Tom Brady for you. And then they take us back to the studio here in the States. But no, yeah, Tom Brady, the first ever NFL quarterback to throw a passing touchdown in Germany in the first ever NFL Germany game today. And then, of course, the team wins, I might add as well, 21-16. The Bucs win it over the Seattle Seahawks. They're now 5-5. Seattle falls to 6-4. But he becomes the first ever NFL quarterback to win a single game, meaning 4 games, one in the United States, one in Mexico, one in England, and one in Germany. To win that, but to win in 4 different countries, let alone on 2 different continents, in North America and Europe. So, yeah, Brady just adding to the record book. Just depends on how you want to word that record. So, yeah. Congratulations, of course, to him. Arguably the GOAT. I don't think he's done playing anytime soon, but once again, this could be his final year. But Giselle realized, hey, even when he is done playing, he's still going to be involved in football because he signed on with Fox to broadcast. So they're divorced. He's moving on and continuing to play, and they've won 2 straight, and they're 5-5. Looking ahead, they go on a bye next week, but then after that, they will have the Cleveland Browns, the New Orleans Saints, and then they go to San Francisco 2 weeks before Christmas, which should be a good game. They get Cincinnati at home, and then they go to Arizona on Christmas night. So I've had them for streaming once, twice, 3 times. Make it 4, 5 a day. Had another 1 or 2 times there for, watching on a second TV during a different game. But, looking ahead, I probably won't get the Bucs again until Christmas night, to be honest with you. And then that might be it until playoff time. So they're 5-5. And 2 straight wins after a 3-5 start, and everybody wrote them off. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And they're starting to get hot right now. They are. And the Seahawks are going to be fine. They're 6-4 now with the loss. They're still atop the NFC West, as Tampa is atop the NFC South. Yeah, Brady's 4-0 now all-time in international games. He's 1 in Mexico City, 1 in England, make it twice, and then in Germany today. Once again, the first ever NFL quarterback to win a single game, but 4 total games in 4 different countries and on 2 different continents. And honestly, for a good while, that might not be broken unless they, get, trying to think who it could be, it just depends on the team, but then the quarterback, and then so on and so forth from there. But yeah, that's actually a damn good stat. But Seattle also going to go on a bye next week. Normally you do get a bye week after an international game, especially over in England. Sometimes, teams elect not to take the bye. They'll come back and then play the following week. But Seattle will host the Raiders right after Thanksgiving before they go to L.A. To take on the Rams. And then they still got a couple of tough games down the stretch. So they should be in the thick of it, I think, come playoff time as well. Whether that's as a division winner or as a wild card, we'll see. But, talk about, being counted out. They have been from the start, but they've proved everybody wrong, including myself. So Of course, like I said earlier, they're good, but they, weren't the best team here today. They did come back and make, a couple plays late, made it interesting with a few touchdowns. But, they didn't do enough early because they punted the whole entire first half. Got a field goal on their opening drive in the second half. Had Tampa, backed into a corner for a, split second. And then as they were trying to capitalize off of a Buck turnover, they turned it over themselves. Tampa drove and scored up 21-3 then. And then Seattle scores, goes for two. They don't get his 21-9. They get a turnover off Tampa Bay again. Score 21-16, but then the Bucs ran the clock out on them. So, if they don't turn the ball over themselves, that's 7 points off the board for the Bucs if everything, of course, goes the way it did. Tampa's last drive there, once again, is for the win rather than to just seal it. For a game-winning field goal, game-winning touchdown, and maybe we still finish at 17-16 or 21-16 like we did. But then it's still a hell of a lot closer than, the 5-point outcome if they do, a little bit more than they did in the first half. But, of course they didn't, and, reap what you sow, lay in the grave, and, yeah, they dug themselves a hole early. They got out of it, but it was late. So they could have won this game, but they didn't. Tampa Bay did. And Geno Smith finishes 23-33 for 275 and 2 touchdowns. Sacked 3 times, where Brady wasn't sacked once. But then that strip sack was key. Trying to capitalize off the interception from Fournette to Brady on a wildcat pass. So, honestly, that is the difference. But then Tampa had the ball late, and they still could have drove and scored and won the game like that anyway. And they probably would have, but you just don't know. But that's honestly how it played out. Turnovers were the difference today. And, Seattle not having a running game compared to Tampa Bay. And also, the Bucs defense bending but not breaking. And then even hell, special teams for that matter, as many punts, and then, the missed field goal that we had, the made field goal that we had, and all the extra points. Like, playing in a soccer stadium, every point matters and counts. And from Munich, Germany, in the first ever NFL game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Seattle Seahawks by 5, officially 21-16. So, Geno Smith, 23-33 for 275 and 2 touchdowns. Also led the team in rushing with 4 carries, 22 yards. And then Kenneth Walker had 10 carries, 17 yards rushing, DK Metcalf had 71 yards receiving on 6 catches. Kenneth Walker, 655 out of the backfield as well. Lockett with a touchdown, as Goodwin had the other. 3 for 42 and 2 for 38 respectively for those two. And the 2 scores. Noah Fant, 3 catches, 34 yards. Disley, 2 catches, 28 yards. And Parkinson, 1 for 7. Brady had an interception. Seattle capitalized on it with a touchdown. If only they could have capitalized off the first turnover, they might have won the game. But Brady's 2 passing touchdowns. Julio Jones and Chris Godwin. Rashard White had 100 yards rushing, as Keyshawn Vaughn had a catch for 11 yards. The tight ends had a pretty good game for the Bucs today. Brait, 1 of 8, but then Cade Otton had 3 catches, 35 yards. Scotty Miller, 2 of 25. Julio Jones with the first touchdown, 3 catches, 53 yards receiving for him. Mike Evans, 554. Chris Godwin of the way, 6 catches, 71 yards, and the touchdown. Leonard Fournette with a rushing touchdown, 14 carries, 57 yards rushing, and the score, Rashard White, 22 for $105. But Tom Brady, as he threw the first ever NFL touchdown pass in Deutschland. That was to Julio Jones. The second to Chris Godwin. They were up 21-3, almost blew it. Seattle coming back, and it did make it interesting late, no doubt about it. But turnovers were key, and the Bucs win it. As Brady's now 4-0 all-time international games, has won in, of course, the United States, but Mexico City, in London, and now in Germany. 4-0 in international games. First ever NFL quarterback to throw a passing touchdown in Germany. First ever NFL quarterback to win a single game, but 4 total games in 4 different countries on 2 different continents, as he finished 22 of 29 today for 258 and those 2 touchdowns. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win it officially 21-16 over the Seattle Seahawks. So, meantime, that'll do it for myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cool and Luke 96. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to social media. Links in the description below. And I'll see everybody very shortly, about 20 minutes or so, for NFL Week 10 live watch-along reactions over on YouTube at 1 o'clock with officially the Saints and Steelers on Fox. And then we'll see what game's on CBS. And then we'll see what else is going on around the NFL here today as well. So, thank you for tuning in and listening. Hope to see everybody soon. Just be sure to subscribe. Notification bell next to it as well. Links in the description below. Like, follow, and subscribe. Bucs won at 21-16 over the Seahawks.